Hello friends, good evening. I'm going to record one series of questions on SQL interview questions basically. So I'll be mostly covering the medium to advanced level of questions. So this is the first questions that I have chosen. So this question says, given a daily sales table, write a query to find all date gaps, basically the missing days, and also compute the cumulative revenue up to each existing date. So basically, if let's say if we have a sales table, so we have to find the cumulative revenue at every rows basically. So that is one thing, and the another thing is we have to find all the date gaps wherever there is a date gap. Let's say we have a data sales data for, let's say, 1st of January, 2nd of January, let's say 3rd and 4th we don't have any data, again 5th we have the data. So we have to basically find out wherever there is a gap. So let's say 3 and 4th then is missing from the table, so we have to find out that. So this looks, the question seems to be very easy, but when we implement this, there will be a lot of confusion. I thought of taking this question. So first thing is that I'm using this Databricks free edition. So this is one free tool provided by Databricks. So you can also register on this to do some practice work. And here basically you will be able to find this serverless compute option, and this serverless will be good enough for our practice purpose. So let's get started with the solution first. So before the solution, we should have some setup, the data setup, basically the table and the data which is required for our sales table basically. So this is, so first thing is that we have to create the database. So I've already created this database, so this is the command, create database retail. So using this, I've already created it. If you want to see all the databases available in this, so we can also see this by running this command, show databases. This will basically show you all the databases currently present, whether this has got created or not. As you can see, this retail database is currently available. It means I have run this query. And one more thing you should check. So this notebook I have opened, and this notebook I am running it using SQL, so that you can make sure that you are choosing it SQL. Otherwise you can also run it, if let's say if it is Python, and if you still want to run it, so you can give a percentage over here, percentage SQL basically. So if I show you percentage SQL show databases, so if you run this and if I make this as Python, so I will still be able to run this. Let me run. Yeah, see, it works. So either way is fine. So if you are sure that you will have to write all the SQL statements, so you can directly choose it as SQL. So now as our database is created, so we will go to the next level. By this command, we'll be able to create the table. So now as this is already SQL, so we don't need to have this SQL magic command. So we can remove that. And now let me run this box. So it is running at the moment. Yeah, as you can see, now our 6 rows has been inserted. So this is the create command, and these are the insert statements. So we have only 2 columns, sales date and revenue. So as you can see, we have 1st January data is present, 2nd January data is present, 3rd is missing. There is a gap on third. Then fourth we have the data, fifth we have the data, sixth and seventh are missing again, eighth we have data, and ninth we have data. Now as you can visualize now that this is something that we have to find it out wherever there is a gap. And also as you can see this revenue. So first row is having 1200. So when we run this SQL, when we build this new SQL, it should be able to calculate at every row. So first row will be 1200, second row will be 1200 plus 850, which will be around 2050. Then third, so 2050 plus 2100. This will be the sum at the third row. Basically like that we have to basically calculate. So let's see how do we have to do that. So for that we'll be using window function. I hope all of you are aware of window function or maybe heard about it. Window function is looks like something like this. If you run this, first of all, whether to make sure we have this data available in this table. So for that, okay, I think when we changed this, so it has automatically taken this percentage SQL at every boxes. Let me remove that and run it. The retail daily sales cannot be found. Verify the spelling. Let me see. Daily sales. Create table daily sales. Okay. I think I have made a mistake over here. What is the mistake? You can tell me on the comment section. So let me tell you the answer. So basically, we have created the database, but we have not used it so far. So what we have to do, we have to use it. So you have to write a command, use retail is the database name, right? When we run this, use retail. So now we are in retail database. So whatever we run it from here, it will be creating under retail database. Now let me rerun this command so that this table will be created under retail database. So it is taking little time. Yeah, now as you can see, this 6 rows has been updated. Now let me run this again. Yeah, as you can see, the data is currently present. So all 6 rows have been inserted. So now let me show you the actual query. How do we have to write it? This is the main query that we have to write. So let me start with very basic thing over here. So this is a CTE that we have written, which is we have named it as gaps. So this SQL, this CTE basically will be find it out wherever there is a gap. So to find the gap, how do we have to find out? So for that we have a window function lag. Lag will be basically we have to find out, let's say, the previous row, what was the value in the previous row, then we will use lag. So this lag over here based on the order by sales date. So based on the sale date, so basically we will have to find out what was the previous sale date, whether it was a continuous date or it is a we have any gaps in between. So for that, let me first find out the previous date. So using this function, we can find out the previous date. And this next one is for revenue. So this is the sum of the revenue. This is also a window function using on the sum. And here over order by sales date. So basically at every row, so rows between unbounded preceding, basically the next row and the current row. So it will pick up all the previous days and it will give sum at the current row basically. So we'll see the result. When we see the result, we'll come to know what is the meaning of this. So now let's say we have found this lag, the previous date, previous sales date. What was the previous sale date? Now we have to find out from the current row sale date, what is the difference basically? Is the difference, so basically let's say if we have previous day as 1st Jan and current day as 2nd Jan. So what will be the difference between current date, basically this is the current date, sale date, and when we say lag of sale date over order by sale date, basically this will be 1st of January. So 2nd of January minus 1st of January will be 1. The difference will be 1. So date difference between this and this will be 1. I will tell you about coalesce. What is coalesce? Coalesce is basically, I hope you most of you know about it. Coalesce is if somehow this date is null, then in that case I'm giving comma separated and this is the sale date. So basically same date will be given. So if we have a date difference as 1, so here we have another parameter -1. So 1 minus 1 will be 0. If this sale date, let's say it is 2nd or maybe 3rd of Jan, and let's say 2nd of Jan is missing. So this will be having null. So coalesce null of sale date. So basically this will pull the sale date, current sale date only. So 3rd of Jan only it will pull. So 3rd of Jan minus 3rd of Jan. What will be the answer? 0. 0 minus 1 will basically pull -1. Basically we will be getting a negative. So wherever there is a gap, we will be having a negative value. So missing days will be negative. So wherever, let's say if we have missing days as -1, we can say there is a gap in that, right? So this is how this is the main intention behind this uh, logic here. Okay, so hope you understood about this CT. Now next one will be using this CT and we basically put another logic over here. So from this CT we are taking the sale date, then we have revenue and cumulative revenue that we have already done it over here. That will be basically will be the calculation at each row, and at last, as we already calculated over here, the missing days. So missing days, if the missing days is greater than 0, right? If the missing days is greater than 0, then concat date add. So we have to add the date from the previous day with 1 value, right? And next one is a so this is concat basically will be having we can connect, we can join these two. So if we want to show all of them together, so we can use this concat function. So this is one value, this is another value, this is another value. So date add previous day minus previous day comma 1 means it will be adding 1 day to the previous day, and date subtraction, it will basically show you the sale date -1, right? So that will be showing the gap over here if the missing days is greater than 0. So that is the main intention over here. And if let's say if we run this, we will be able to see the result over here. Then we can be sure if it is working or not. If you see over here, so this first of all, let's see this cumulative revenue. So we have here 1200, Then next row 2050, this is sum of these two. In third row 4150, which is sum of all three. Then 5080, which will be sum of all these four. Like that it goes on. And next one is this gap range. So as you can see here, we don't have any gap, so it is returning null. Next one, as it also does not have any gap because 2 minus 1 is 1. It also does not have any gap, so it is also showing nothing. Here we have some gaps. 3rd of January is the missing one over here. So 3rd of January to 3rd of January, basically here this calculation as previous day plus 1 and sale day minus 1. So this is the calculation, because based on that this concatenating these three values. And next one, again we don't have any gap, so it is showing properly over here. Then this one again we have some gap, so here 6th and 7th are missing basically. So 6th of January and 7th of January 2024 we have this data, and 9th of January again we don't have any gap. So this is how we can think about the solution. So I hope this is good enough for you to understand uh, this thing. So I hope I am able to explain you properly. So that's it for today. So let's meet up in the next session with a new problem. Thank you so much.